Hello everyone, I'm Jake Matsumoto and this is my Comm 120 interpersonal communications video project. And for my project, the person I chose to interview is my dad, Kevin. I've known him for 19 years. I've seen him almost every day for 19 years. And the reason why I chose my dad is because I've always admired and valued those close father-son relationships you always see um, on TV shows like the Andy Griffith Show between Andy and Opie, for example. And however, unfortunately, I don't have that close bond with my dad, and the reason because of that, I believe is because some of the barriers in our communication, some of those being too much external noise that interferes and competes for our attention in our communication. Criticizing the speaker where I'm too critical of my dad and the things he says and does. And finally, code switching where I keep the subject matter of our communication more on the superficial level. Okay, hello everyone. This is my dad, Kevin. Thank you for joining.
Sure.
Appreciate it. So the problems that we have in our communication, the first one is being too much external noise or hearing versus listening. That comes from chapter 5. And that's when little noise, like computers or technology or like ambulance, it fights for your attention when someone's speaking to you. And we mostly talk at home. That's where we see each other like every day. And usually I see you when you're getting off work and I'm off of school or I'm getting ready to go to work, and usually you just want to relax and do your own thing, and I'm doing that too. Like you came home and then you open the laptop like immediately, and so we're off in our own little worlds and doing our own little things, and I feel like that adds to the noise that's going on.
I would say not so much noise like an ambulance or anything like that, but more distractions of technology would be my problem. Watching sports or getting caught up in social media, getting caught up in all my feeds and all that stuff. So that would be more of a distractor for me, where I don't give 100% of my undivided attention to my son or my wife when talking to them, and that's kind of disrespectful.
I often have to me too, when we ask you something, you takes you a second, takes you 5 seconds max to hear it and then respond.
Yeah.
So it's like hearing versus listening.
Yeah.
And then the solution I came up with, so whenever we just go to talk, it's be putting all the technology inside and actively listening to someone or turning down the volume when we're listening to each other.
I would agree. Or physically getting eye contact. Yeah.
And the second problem would be criticizing the speaker, and that's from chapter 3. That's when a listener is overly critical and judgmental of what the speaker has and finds fault in whatever they say. I think this is more on my part because we have very different characteristics. We're the opposite. And so I think in my mind, I kind of push all your ideas and stuff a little to the side because they're so different than mine. And we talked about in class how it's not good to expect someone to react the way that you would. And I feel like that's what I do to you. So sorry about that.
Yeah, I would agree. Jake's very patient and I'm kind of impatient, and he's very kind, and I can be kind of rude and harsh or in your face, and he's not like that. So if somebody pisses me off, I'm not afraid to, I guess, react and want to actually hunt you down and kind of fight you. That's my attitude, and Jake is not like that. So it's not always the best example. So I think at times he could probably act a little more mature than I do, because I just want to fight. So I can see where he kind of judges me first. I wasn't always the greatest example.
So the solution we came up with is that I could be less critical and respect that you are your own person. I shouldn't put my own judgment of myself on you, my expectations on you. And yeah,
I was brought up differently, so I was kind of yelled at a lot more. Not a peaceful environment.
And then the third problem in our communication would be like code switching, and that's when you use more than one language in conversation, or it would be you speak in a specific way according to who you're talking to. Like, for example, you talk way differently with your friends than with your boss.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in our situation, it's more of like what we talk about than how we talk. Because like when we do talk, it's about like random stuff like exercising or like fighting or something, martial arts. And when I talk with mom, like it's more about like how's life going or like how I'm feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And we learned in chapter 4 how men communicate more to report information, whereas women communicate more to rapport or like make connections with people. So, yeah, I think that's where that plays a factor.
I would agree. I mean, I talk with the boys different than I talk to my wife or my coworkers. You know, definitely not talk on how I talk to guys at the gym and stuff like that, or even my kids. Each one of my kids have 3 kids, and the other 2 are adults. So I'd actually talk to them differently too. I catch myself then toning things down with Jake more. So.
And then the final solution that we came up with, I think, is for me to be more open and transparent, because I know that you wouldn't mind talking about stuff like that. It's just, I don't know, it just feels different. So I guess being more transparent and actively trying to make deeper conversations, deeper than the superficial.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was
and I kind of respect you in the fact that you don't really, well, I mean, we all talk differently with our friends, but you pretty much walk the walk and you talk the same or act the same with everyone you're around, whether you're at church or whether you're with your friends. You still, have a standard. So I respect that. I think we should all be like that. Not waver.
Thank you. I appreciate your time.
That's it.
In conclusion, the issues that prevent genuine interpersonal communication between me and my dad and prevent establishing a closer bond with him would be allowing too much external noise to interfere with our communication, and our opposing characters that cause me to be too critical of my dad and the things he says and does. And the final solution or problem would be code switching and only talking about the superficial. And the solutions that we came up with that I believe would lead to a closer bond and would overcome those barriers would be to set aside all distractions when communicating with each other and actively listening to one another. Secondly, would to be more tolerant of one another's characters and thoughts and actions, and to not put expectations on one another. And finally, the final solution would be to be more vulnerable and transparent with each other, and to actively seek and make deeper conversations with one another. And I truly believe that if I put these solutions into practice, that I can one day have a close and bond with my dad, kind of like Andy and Opie throwback.